Hello and welcome to ScreenBlitz, the weekly film and television show giving you all the news, views, reviews, previews, features, opinions and more that you need to know. I'm your host Grant Burton. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @the_Grant Burton, or you can go to forcefightgrant.wordpress.com for all of my written reviews, if you want. On today's show I'm going to be reviewing Ozark Season 2, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, as well as Deadpool 2's Super Duper Cut, and we also have a lot of news items to get through too. If you enjoy the show and you're watching this on YouTube on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or Friday, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. 100 subscribers is my current goal. At 100 subscribers I get a custom URL, makes it easier to share. Speaking of sharing, share this across social media. Let other people know about it. If you don't like it, someone else might. If you're watching this live on Twitch, get involved in the chat. We'd like to have a little hangout at the end of the show where we talk about all the discussions. I would really appreciate that. But it's time to get on with the show, and we start each and every week with the news. First item is from Ben Travis and Nick DeSemlian at Empire. Die Hard 6's title is McClane. The cop versus terrorist action saga is set to continue in an upcoming sixth film, simultaneously following Bruce Willis as a 60-year-old McClane and a younger incarnation of McClane in his 20s. And while the project has been rumoured to be called Die Hard Year 1, the script has a different, cleaner title, McClane. So, for me, Die Hard is dead. It can't be revived, it can't be brought back. After the last film, A Good Day to Die Hard, it's just hit rock bottom, because that film, in my opinion, is one of the worst films ever made. I liked Live Free or Die Hard 4. That's my second favourite of the Die Hard films, but the last one was just awful. So what they need to do is reboot it if they're going to do anything. This might be them trying to do that, but why still having Bruce Willis in it? I don't like the title McClane. McClane does suggest a reboot, but it's going against the formula of the Die Hard titles, and I don't like that at all. But yeah, the original Die Hard as well, was not that an origin story? Because I'm assuming he didn't go on any adventures. I'm assuming he didn't stop terrorists or do anything of huge significance prior to that film. So it seems a little odd how they're going back to his 20s when I'm assuming he'll be like a beat cop or something. And yeah, it just seems like they're trying to get as much out of this franchise as they can while Bruce Willis is still around and while he still kind of cares about it. But yeah, I'm not excited for this at all. Next story. Joe Utterson from Variety. Henry Cavill to star in the Witcher series at Netflix, and he'll be playing the lead role of Geralt of Rivia. So, I'm a big fan of the books, and I love the video games, particularly The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Henry Cavill is not who I would have thought of originally, but I got mixed thoughts about this altogether. I don't think he's a terrible actor, but I don't think he's a good actor either. This is a role which I think he could potentially be alright in, but it's hard to say without putting on the makeup and the wig, because Geralt of Rivia has a very distinct look, and he also has very distinct mannerisms and a very distinct voice. So if Henry Cavill can't do that, this is going to be really odd and unusual. So yeah, it's one of them things we'll just have to wait and see how it turns out. Could be good, could be bad, but yeah, Henry Cavill not the first person I would imagine taking on this role. But that being said, he is a fan of the video games, he is a fan of the books, so that's good. When doing video game adaptations, you often get people who've never even played or heard of the property they're adapting. So this does have some hope in there. So yeah, don't judge it too harshly just yet. Next story. Steve C at Joe Blow. Len Wiseman to direct and produce Swamp Thing for DC Universe. So Len Wiseman, we've already spoke about one of his films, Live Free or Die Hard, also known as Die Hard 4. I think he's a perfectly fine director. He's also probably best known for the Underworld franchise. DC Universe is the DC streaming service, which I believe comes out this month in the United States. The Swamp Thing TV show probably not going to be out till next year sometime. And it shows that they care by bringing in these big names and big directors and producers to work on these shows. They are trying to make this a worthwhile thing because they want the subscribers, they want people coming in and actually paying them to get this content. So yeah, Len Wiseman, probably a good choice. I don't know much about Swamp Thing, so I don't know if he'll have. I'm not sure if his version of Swamp Thing will be faithful or not. I don't think it'll be a unique thing, but yeah, time will tell. Final news story of today. The Academy Awards will no longer have the popular film category. The Academy said that adding the new Oscars category merits further study, stating, "The Academy recognised that implementing any new award 9 months into the year creates challenges for films that have already been released. The Board of Governors continues to be actively engaged in discussions and will examine and seek additional input regarding this category." So, it's probably a good thing that they've got rid of this. The problems when they reveal this is, one, the name popular implies that this is just going to be a popularity contest, implies that maybe it's just going to be the mainstream blockbuster movies. So to single them out and say that these are somehow different from all the other movies is wrong, I think. And it was also a mistake to reveal the name of this category without actually saying what the requirements were, what sort of things will be up for nomination. So yeah, it's probably a good thing to go back on this and to rethink it, but at the same time, the Academy and other awards ceremonies need to start acknowledging these big mainstream films, the films that the majority of people are actually going to see. So, yeah. It's a bit disappointing now though, because it means films like Avengers Infinity War, Black Panther, and all these other big blockbusters, Mission Impossible Fallout, might not get any recognition beyond like special effects and choreography and so on. But yeah, that's it for the news. We're moving on to trailers now, but first, just a reminder, give me a subscription, I really would appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below on YouTube. If you're watching this on Twitch, get involved in the chat, we'll talk a bit more in a minute. But let's get straight back onto trailers. Bojack Horseman. Next season of Bojack Horseman is a week away, and they released a trailer for it just the other day. What I like about Bojack Horseman is that it's an animated comedy that isn't afraid to be serious and to tell a compelling, dramatic story. It's not the funniest thing ever. It really does tell a story that seems to matter and that's important. And I think because it's in animation, because it's given a comedy flavour, let's say, it means that this story isn't too deep and too depressing, because this is a tough story to get into, especially if you get rid of the comedic elements. But yeah, it's not the funniest thing ever, but another thing I like about Bojack is that it's a show you kind of have to pay attention to, because a lot of the comedy is actually in the background. You'll have characters walking around who are doing things or saying things, and while you're paying attention to what's going on in the foreground, that's where the comedy is. It's in the background. So I really like that. It's very creative and inventive at times as well. So yeah, the trailer, not got much to say about the actual trailer we saw this week, but it looks like it's more Bojack, which is a pretty good thing. I just hope this show doesn't go on and on and on forever, because I think it's at risk of repeating itself. It already has kind of done that a little. Next trailer, Halloween. So, I spoke about this a few weeks ago. Halloween is one of my most anticipated films this year, which is bizarre because I've only ever seen the original Halloween, and I'm not a big fan of horror movies or of slasher films like this. But for some reason, this film just looks like it's going to be really good. They're getting all the right people involved. They've got John Carpenter doing the score. The score in this trailer, by the way, brilliant. Loads of different variations of the iconic theme song, Give Me Goosebumps and all that lot. So, I've really got high hopes for this film, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to this despite not being a fan of the franchise. Final trailer this week was Narcos Mexico. So, Narcos I think is one of the most underrated shows on Netflix. I think it's very thrilling, very exciting, but where it suffers is that it doesn't always focus on the characters that much. This season looks like a bit of a reboot. I think it's going back in time. I think it's like in the 70s or 80s or something. So it's not continuing from the last season. And it's got new actors in there. Pedro Pascal is gone, which is a little disappointing because it looked like they were setting up a storyline for him in this season, but it doesn't look like that's happening. Maybe they're going to do a time jump and get back to that in season 5, but we'll have to wait and see for there. But I do like the new leads. You got Diego Luna and Michael Pena, I think it is, and yeah, this could be a bit of a reinvigoration, a bit of a reboot for the series. But yeah, a lot of potential in this. If you've liked what you've seen so far, again, subscribe, leave a comment, get in the chat, have a load of fun. Thanks for watching so far.